have the pleasure to speak to the wonderful Kim A. Snyder, American filmmaker who directed and produced the 2020 documentary U.S. Kids. Following the success of your Peabody Award-winning documentary Newtown in 2016, you top into the aftermath after a mass shooting. What an honor. How are you today?
I'm well, and thanks so much for having me, Nathalia.
Thank you so much for taking the time out of your, I'm sure, busy day to speak with me. First and foremost, congratulations. You have returned to Sundance Film Festival 2020 with another groundbreaking documentary, U.S. Kids. What is the message of this film?
Well, first of all, I'm going to make one correction. It's actually, it's called Us Kids, which is
Kids. Apologies.
No, but it's something we've thought about, because it also could be, it could be U.S. Kids, but we have called it Us Kids. And the Us Kids came from when, it's actually taken from the speech Emma Gonzalez gave right after that shooting, where she says, "Us Kids." There's a line that starts with "Us Kids," and it was the idea to take it from that. But ask your question again.
Yes, of course. What is the message of this groundbreaking film?
Whoa. Well, I think the message is that that your generation and and a lot of the young people that are depicted on the film have been, and you yourself, as you shared, have grown up with a lot of trauma from gun violence that's affected you personally and so many others. And I thought a lot about a nation of traumatized kids, that basically that this movement isn't just some kind of theory. This is based on people like you who emotionally really have grown up with fear and anger, understandably, and want to do something about it, which is courageous and important. And I wanted to give a voice to you and so many people like you to just have the world, this country, think a little bit of not only about gun violence prevention, but as you well know, your generation is so good at linking things. And now that we've got COVID and we've got Black Lives Matter, it all matters even more. The gun issue even matters more. We know that because communities, Black and brown communities, are disproportionately affected by gun violence. Hopefully you got that out of the film, that this is really not a film about Parkland or a mass shooting. We really tried hard to make it a film about communities across the country and young people that are standing together shoulder to shoulder, from Bria in Milwaukee to Emma in Parkland, to make change. And we want, and the message is that they should continue to become leaders, to get involved and to vote.
Yes, it is extremely important, and you have shared that throughout this film. It was a profound experience to see how the individuals in the film somehow turned tragedy into something extremely prominent and powerful. I mean, I commend the Parkland survivors for contributing to taking action against gun violence and the epidemic of it that we have in the United States. So thank you so much for sharing your story. And what made you pursue a topic so powerful to create a documentary, especially told by the lens of kids?
It was really important to me, Nathalia. You know, we had a lot of footage, as you can imagine, when you make a documentary. It's 2 years in the making with hundreds and hundreds of hours, but we really cut a lot of the adults out. We didn't want there to be experts. We really wanted it to be the voices of kids and of young people. And, you know, I tried to build trust by incorporating them into the process. So I'd show them a lot of clips. I'd say, what do you think of this? Is this tone deaf? Is this work? You know, I tried not to censor it. There's cursing. There's, you know, but these were, you know, so it didn't seem like, you know, we wanted people to understand that these are young people, that you are kids. You're still kids who need to do all the things that kids do, but you're doing this against the backdrop. You're coming of age at a time where so much is being asked of you, and stepping up with this kind of courage. So, you know, I just really wanted to, you know, I'm a lot of a kid at heart. And so I wanted to be able to just feel respectful and like, not like you're this age and I'm that age, but just what do I have to learn from you, and what can I bring as a storyteller to giving you a voice?
I must say you magnificently captured live expressions of youth advocatism. I mean, turning the rage and ache into immediate action to organizing the March for Our Lives movement, which stretched across the country. Thank you so much. And what is the moment of climax, the moment of highest tension, and what's the solution to the problem is now in sight?
That's a fantastic question. I think that the fact that not only were this group of students that started in a bedroom 37 days after experiencing the death of friends, were they able to turn out the largest youth protest in American history that was on 5 continents globally. The fact that they were then, after that, able to go around the country and gather lots of young people like you, students like you, to join forces with them. And then even we went to South Africa, where they, you know, Desmond Tutu gave them an award for human rights. All of that was amazing. The midterm vote was important because they were able to turn out the highest the highest level of youth voter turnout for midterms that had happened. And we hope that happens again come November. So that, I'd say, is the moment of tension. Will they be able to turn out the vote? And they did. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think the whole film is full of hope, but a hope that, you know, people like Cameron and Samantha who say, I realize, it reminded me of, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the DNC, but Billie Eilish sang. And she sang this song that she's in love with her future. It really touched me because I think the fact that you are living in very challenging times, your generation, and mm-hmm. that you're willing to be patient, to do the work it takes to be a great generation and to make this world better. It's your future. Emma at one point says, "Oh, we have lots of time. We have a lot of time ahead of us." So I think the resolution is, the hope is that you will become leaders. You are leaders. You're already being a leader in what you're doing this very moment, and you will. I just have hope that you will face all of these challenges, the public health challenges of COVID, of gun violence prevention in particular, of everything that the Black Lives Matter movement has so importantly brought to the fore. And you will be able to make this nation stronger. And you will be able to create, more than anything, I believe that your generation will create a society with more empathy. Because I mm-hmm. personally believe that something has happened in this country where greed and self-centered interests have sort of taken hold in a way that is not proud. It's not a proud part of being American. And I think you're going to restore, I see you as young patriots. I see your generation as a group of patriots that are going to restore American values that we've all longed to lift up again.
Yes, I completely agree. And a little bit back to when you were speaking more about Emma Gonzalez, I have to say she spread some powerful words throughout this film, and she was so into her emotion. She really shared her personal connection. And just seeing how this aftermath, one of my favorite things I loved about this film is being able to see everyone's fight after that tragic situation personally, but then you see how they handle it all together as a group, you know, going to South Africa to receive an award, spreading the word across 5 different nations. That is amazing. And Emma Gonzalez, she calls BS and she did it proudly. So I am so glad that I got to see this film because I knew about this tragic appearance at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, but I didn't know how it affected them personally. And getting to see this film really showed me the insight of the aftermath, what they're doing on a daily now, and how has it affected their personality. It's just pretty crazy. And depth of feeling is what makes a film watch-worthy. You know, of the many feelings expressed in this film, which are you most familiar with?
Wow, your questions are good.
Thank you.
The emotional part, I related to to Sam's trauma. I related to anger, and I related to hope. I mean, that string of emotions of feeling when things happen that are unjust and devastating. It was very poignant to me that they really did go and fight in the name of their fallen friends. That was a show of loyalty and of respect. And I feel that out of that came action through anger. Anger is a very productive emotion when you use it wisely. And you know, it's inspired movements that have been led by young people, you know, for you know, since the age of time. And certainly we think of the civil rights movement as being fueled by that. So it was that, and out of that comes the hope for a better tomorrow. And that, I think more than anything, I mean, the March for Our Lives kids, you know, have an Our Power. That's the one of their sub programs, Our Power. And it's, Emma talks about it, it's sort of realizing that you have power.
And lastly, moving forward, I want to see gun violence end. I mean, if we're going to end this, we need to come together. We need to get advice from our generation of youth. So do you have any advice for our generation of youth to get involved to make a difference?
Yeah, I think if you listen to the words of people like Emma Gonzalez, David Hogg, you need to instruct. It's about conversations with your elders, meaning it has to start with you guys. This isn't about the older generation telling the younger people. It worked that way with a lot of things. There was a time when no one cared about recycling, right? And that wasn't good for the earth. You need to have conversations that maybe you get frustrated with someone in your family. The same way in our film, you see them patiently talking to these guys in Texas who are wielding AR-15s. Have conversations that are civil, and use your debate skills like they did, and for sensible gun laws. And try to, you know, in the film you see Jackie Corin, who is a co-founder. Her father was not in favor of her running down the street that night and getting part of this movement. And then he turned. He understood that she was right. So I think it's having conversations generationally with your parents, with your grandparents. That's one thing that comes to mind. I know a lot of this has been like, you know, this is for kids and you guys messed up, and a lot of it is true. But I think those conversations are important, that we work together. We all have to be at the table to make this work. We all have to vote. And I think, let me think of what else in terms of volunteering, getting involved in local chapters. Right now, March for Our Lives, I believe, has well over 300 chapters. Find like-minded people. And as you think about coming of voting age, for those who are a little bit older, think about it more of the policies that you believe in. I think a lot of young people are truly, I mean, not just young people, are truly sick of the bipartisan. It's like being in a divorced family in this country right now. It's not fun. And so it's like looking at policies, and just what David says, we're just looking for morally just leaders. You know, we're looking for people to make our schools or our churches safer, or our neighborhoods. And we don't really care what, you know, what political color you are. So there's that, and there's the aspiration to become engaged and have aspirations to run. One of the young men from March for Our Lives was the youngest in Houston, youngest person ever to run for, city council. So running for offices and getting young people in positions of power, I am completely behind that. We need more diversity, not just diversity with Black and brown communities, but we need diversity in age.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I mean, just like you said, not just diversity in color, but just in age, sharing that information with your great-grandparents, your grandparents, and informing them about the situations that are still happening in present time in 2020. And lastly, before I close out, please tell everyone and give them a little reminder about the screening series tomorrow that kicks off in Miami.
Thank you. Well, we have a special surprise in that if you go to uskidsfilms.com for youth that are really interested in getting involved, we have a limited number of tickets. Now, this is a drive-in. It's COVID safe. I assume at 11 you can't drive, but you can get. But for those of your older friends or your parents that can take you in safe pods and go to the Wynwood Cinema. And if you go to our website, we're going to get a lot of you in for free if you go there. So we can give you promo codes in Miami, but it's a national screening tour that's hitting 9 cities. You can find out which cities. And if there's a city that's not on there, let us know. We want it at our drive-in, and we're going to try our best to make this drive-in series outside the beginning of a real flame that can take off. We want you guys to, this is your film. This is a film for all young people. You should run with it, tell people, and that's a call to action. Tell people if you found it powerful the way you did. Share that it's coming soon. And that way we can get it out virtually to every kid in America that wants to see it.
Yes, everyone, you heard her. It is time to go to their website and possibly get some free tickets on a safe drive-by. COVID, not getting it. That's the way we're going to go. And you guys get to see this empowering, inspirational, and wonderful film. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. I mean, today I got the opportunity to speak with Kim A. Snyder, American filmmaker who directed the 2020 documentary, Us Kids. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Kids First YouTube channel to see more amazing interviews like this young lady. And make sure to see the reviews and interviews of the latest films and key players in entertainment and family industry. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much, Nathalia.
You know that we're going to win. You know